Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Retro Alliance Gaming. So, today I'm going to do a review of PlayStation VR. Now, I did a previous video that you guys might have watched, and it was showing how you could hook up PlayStation VR to any retro system you have. Dreamcast, Master System, SNES, you name it. I'm going to be doing another video because in that video I talked a lot and I kind of want to have a more simplified version of how to connect it for you guys out there that are trying to do it, and I'm going to be doing that very soon. It'll probably be the video after this one that I'm going to show you. That being said, today I'm going to go a little bit over that and a little bit over some other stuff because I've had some really good time to really dive into PlayStation VR and figure it out, and it's been a really exciting experience for me. The first thing I want to do before I even start any of this is I want to thank somebody that I met recently. Now, this person that I met, I actually met them online. I don't remember exactly how, but he runs a place called Forgotten Freshness Gaming out of New York. Hey, Butters, hold on. She's stepping in. She wants to say hi. Say hi, baby. Can you say hi to everybody? Yeah? You need me kisses? Kisses from Mrs.? Okay. Anyway, so I met this guy and I started conversing with him. He was really cool, runs a retro gaming store. Awesome person. And long story short, I figured out that I could do trades with this guy. Basically, the first thing I did was I did a trade for something for a game. I had a copy of a game called Dragon Force, which is an awesome game for the Sega Saturn, but I had been looking for a different game that I'd been wanting for a long time, a really rare game, which was called Albert Odyssey. See, Albert Odyssey is more of a turn-based RPG, while the other one's more of a strategy, and I'm more into that. Of course, eventually I want to own all of them, but that was the first deal I did with this guy. Now, I had never met him before, but I had looked at him up, saw really good reviews, and I decided to go ahead and send out my game. And I get really nervous about these kind of things. I sent out Dragon Force. He received it. He was very happy with it. And he immediately sent me my game back, made sure there was a signature requirement. Easy as hell, and this is the first experience I ever got with him, and I received this game, Albert Odyssey, a beautiful RPG that I cannot wait to delve into. This established a friendship and a trust that I had with this guy. Now, just for the record, I'm going to put the name of his store below and probably a link to his Facebook, so if you guys are ever interested in buying things, maybe retro games, equipment, or maybe even want to do a trade, hit this guy up. He is an incredibly honest, genuine, and wonderful person, and I'm very glad to have met him. And because of this gentleman, me and AJ, my fiance, now have PlayStation VR. Thing is, we would have never had PlayStation VR if it weren't for him. I tend to be able to get systems and games, and I always have a way of going about it, but we make a modest income. It's not like, making all the money off of YouTube or something crazy like that. And it's really hard to be able to get all these things, but normally I can figure out coming up with system money, $200, $300 one way or another. But PlayStation VR, number one, it was completely sold out. Number two, just to get the base version was $400, and then to get that, and then the version that came with a game and a camera and the move controllers was like $550, which was sold out everywhere. So really, it wasn't looking likely. Now, I'm a retro game collector, and a lover. I play them. The games you see behind me, I have another 100 sitting in here, 100 in a closet. My brother has a lot of my games growing up. So I, over the period of time of doing trades and meeting people, had met a lot of people and gotten doubles of games and systems, like the TurboGrafx. I had a boxed double of that. I have my PC Engine, a lot of games and stuff. So I had a conversation with this guy, and I told him I wanted to get a VR. No problem. He went, found an ordered the VR set for me, this right here, which is the base bundle at 400, and then he went out of his way to order me the Move controllers, get me a camera for it, and get me a game. And this was all before I even sent the items to him. We again had a little bit of a trust base from before, and I went ahead and sent out everything that he asked me for. The deals that he gave me on the trades were very good. It wasn't some guy off Craigslist that's trying to, 50% you or give you something cheap. This guy gave me actual trade-in value, and it was for things that I already owned. So what that ended up doing was give me the opportunity to get this, which was not only hard to find, but something I dreamed about since I was a child. I mean, who hasn't? And getting it without having to pay a penny. When I was a kid, I remember, now getting into the review, well, actually before that, I just wanted to tell him, I think his name's Frank. If not, I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for doing this for us. He's done a lot of great things. He got me hooked up with this, other games. He recently got a pre-order done for me on a system that is very hard to get. And I'm working on another deal with him as we speak. So just thank you so much for all of your help. You're wonderful, and I'm looking so forward to doing business with you in the future. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the VR now. Since I was a kid, kind of like any one of you guys, I have been waiting for a VR experience. I went to Universal Studios, which had those 3D rides where you kind of go up in the air like Back to the Future, and you're looking at a screen, and it feels like you're actually moving into the screen or 3D glasses. In the 90s, I remember going to this stand, and in the stand, they had you stood in the middle, you put on a headset, there was all these wires, and at the time, I didn't know what high resolution was. I was used to the normal resolution we had in the 90s, So it looked great to me. I didn't get nauseous or anything. It turned with my head, and it was really cool. I started thinking to myself what the future would be like and being able to have one of these units in your home, and I always dreamt about it. Before even hearing about PlayStation VR, through all my fantasies throughout my childhood, I remember me and my fiance watching Sword Art Online, and they had the systems that you hooked yourself into, but it literally connected your brain to it, so you were there in that world, and it was this wonderful thing, and I thought that would be so cool in the future if one day we could actually do that.
Especially since I'm disabled.
Yeah, and especially because my fiance is disabled, and it'd be a way for her to, interact and run around the world without having legs, necessarily. She does have legs, but they just don't work very well. But, and it was an awesome idea, other than, the whole, can't take the helmet off or you get killed, blah, blah, blah. If you haven't seen Sword Art Online.
Do it.
Well, too bad I gave you the spoiler for the first episode. I'd probably still do it too. Well, we're not quite to that point yet, but where we are, if we're at a point where VR is not only been made possible, but it is amazing. Now, I was looking into VR. I saw the Oculus Rift. I read about it in the HTC Vive, and I thought to myself, great, I can never afford this. First off, I'd have to have $600-700 for a system, $200 for wireless controllers, and even worse, I have to have a computer that's probably $1,400-1,500 running the system, and they don't even have a lot of developers for it. There's indie stuff you can do. Well, when PlayStation announced it for $400, technically $550 if you want all the stuff, if you don't have a camera or Move controllers, I thought this is feasible. This is actually a possible thing to get in your home. And the interesting thing is, not only is it possible, but you have a company, a powerhouse like Sony, who gets all these exclusives and these giant games, which means we're going to get really great development, even better than with these other VR systems. Now, the other systems I've heard were better in one way or another. They say the resolution's better. They have two separate 1080p screens, or it's higher than that. They have wireless, so you're walking around a room. There's all sorts of things, but for me, that wasn't feasible. And funny enough, even if I had the money, let's just say I had the money to buy one of those, I would still have wanted to get the PlayStation VR, because as far as I'm concerned, having that first party development for it in the major games is what I'm going for. And as for the system quality, I'm blown away, literally blown away by this freaking system. So let me get started explaining our first experiences, which I'm going to put up in the top corner. When we got this system at home, I had this picture in my head of how it would be. People said it was very complicated to set up. first thing I want to tell you is if you're kind of like a technophile and you've hooked up a lot of things before, it's not that complicated. You have some wires when you take it out, and as long as you know a little bit about gaming and television and things, it is not even remotely overwhelming. I've hooked up things that were way crazier than this VR headset. Now,
unless you're stupid.
what? Yeah,
No,
so
yeah.
very, very easy to set up. Number one. Number two, people will tell you, well, the problem with it is it's new technology mixed with old. What they're referring to is a PlayStation camera, and they're referring to these Move controllers, which before the VR came out, these were pretty much, Wii clones, and nobody used them. Now they are of a lot of value too, for like $80 or something, or $40 a pop. I'm not sure if the deal has gotten better. Now, I imagine in the future Sony's going to go ahead and they're going to come up with new controllers, maybe even a wireless setup to put around your room where you don't have to worry about it. But the thing is, I haven't had any problems with it. When I first started it, it worked perfectly. And at one point, I remember I was playing Until Dawn and I was shooting. And I remember, it's a little shaky, but you don't notice that. And I remember my arm was kind of twisting and I didn't know why. And it was my fault. I didn't have it set up properly. When you turn it on and you turn on the camera, you calibrate the camera and you calibrate the headset by the lights and the controllers, and it tells you to reach out your arms. So you reach out your arms as far left, up, and around as you can. And as long as you're within the viewing of the camera, you don't have any problems. And it's really easy to set up. Just most people don't realize that you have to go in and collaborate it. But I have had absolutely no issues with this whatsoever. Getting into the experience and the headset. First things first, experience-wise, the first thing I put on was Project Diva. My fiance used it, and then I put it on. But it was a situation where you are in a concert and you're seeing Vocaloid characters in front of you dancing. I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that I was so blown away that I almost wanted to cry, literally. When I first put on the headset, it had this weird thing where it was showing I was looking at the TV and seeing myself in the camera, and it kind of threw me off for a second. Like I was almost dizzy. I was like, whoa, this is so weird. So it takes a second for you to adjust to, but once you're adjusted to it, it is unfreaking believable. So I'm sitting there with this headset on, and I'm looking all around, and no matter where I turn my head, I'm there. I am at the concert. You can press certain buttons to make her dancing closer to you, and it is, I'm not going to say that it's going to replace traditional gaming. It will never replace me sitting in front of a TV and playing a game. That will be something that I will do for life, but it is also not a fad. It is another way to experience gaming. There are still games that I will play preferred in front of the TV with a controller, but what it does...
It's like handheld versus console.
Handheld versus console. Another way of playing. That was a good example. What it does is it allows you to not only play games in another way, but it really, really envelops you in the world. And what I mean is, like, Resident Evil, for example, 7 is coming out. Another game that is exclusive to the PSVR that will not be coming to Oculus or any other system for over a year. And I'm playing this demo, and I'm looking around, and it tricks your brain into thinking that you're there. So no matter which way you're turning your head, you see what's going on. When you're walking, you can move your head forward and look down and see close up to everything you're looking at. And it's unbelievable because you know it's not real. You know you're in a game, but it is so much scarier. Like things that wouldn't even normally scare me freak the shit out of me. So what that means is games you would never play normally in VR are the best things ever, and games that you would play normally in VR are so enhanced that sometimes it could be almost overwhelming. Like I said, I had to take off the helmet at one point, and for the first like 4 or 5 times I played it, I felt depersonalized. Now I do have anxiety in real life, but when I first took it off, I was just looking around the room and I was like, whoa, and it took me a sec to adjust. Now I just pop the helmet on and I go. Putting on a VR headset and playing a game is literally putting you into another world. It is everything I dreamt and hoped it could be, and I can only see it getting better. If somebody tells you out there that it's a fad, it is not. Am I going to tell you to go out there and spend the money to buy it right now? If you have the money and this is something that interests you, this is the real deal. It is something that will blow you away. I don't even know how to begin to explain to you how it is, but it's really something you have to experience. I would suggest going to a friend's house, going to a mall, finding a way to put this helmet on your head and figure it out, because when you're in the helmet, you're not thinking about resolution, even though it's very good. You're not thinking about anything other than the fact that you're in this world and you're like, holy shit, okay? If you want to get into the technical aspects of it, um, resolution is fantastic. Is it as clear as looking at your HD TV without it on? No, it is not. But the 3D world that's around you, you're not paying attention so much to that. And it's still very, very clear in 720p when you have the helmet on your head. With PSVR, people can see what you're playing on the TV, and there's even games and applications where people can join you in two players. Like, for example, this free downloadable thing, I can't remember what it's called, it's a VR room. And you're running around and you're this giant thing, and people are using the controller, and they're these little tiny creatures, and you're banging your head into buildings and it's breaking. It gives a lot of interactivity that you probably can't get with some of the other systems, and I really hope in the future they make it where you can set up 2 VR headsets in one, because I'm thinking like me and my fiance get a game like Sword Art Online, some kind of huge massive RPG, which is ultimately what I really, really want. And I'm thinking we both make our characters, right? And we put on these helmets, and the technology is already there, and we turn and we look at each other and we see the characters we created, and we're running around this world together. It's a way for you and your spouse to hop into like this amazing fantasy world, and I know that's going to be coming soon. They just got to figure out hooking up both the headsets. I assume you're going to need more power to the PlayStation, so you're definitely probably going to need a Pro. That being said, I also don't have a PlayStation Pro. I have a regular one, and I'm going to tell you right now, without experiencing the Pro, it is amazing. There's no problem. It runs perfectly smooth. Going into the headset, I'm going to bring it over here. This headset is amazing. It is incredibly light. I can hold it with my one hand, and I don't even feel like I have any weight on here. You have all these tracking lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have the ones on the back of the head, which is for the motion when you're moving your head. When you turn it on, you're going to want to collaborate it. So it'll show lights on the front, and you'll hold this still in the image until it collaborates on all ends. There's also fine tricks you can do that you don't have to do that I figured out later on, such as when you put it on, it will measure the distance between both your eyes. Everybody has, a different distance between the two to give you a better overall experience. There are so many details with it that are fantastic that it's really, really an exciting thing. You have this cord that comes out right here, and one thing that I love about it is the volume buttons are raised, so you can't really see what's going on when you have the headset on in the real world. But if you feel the raised buttons, those are the volume up and volume down, and the ones that are for the headphones or the one above, and then power. This makes it so you don't accidentally turn up the volume on your headset and forget. Now, you can put on an actual stereo headset if you want, but what it comes with is these little earbuds, and you're thinking, what kind of volume are you going to get out of these things, right? Unbelievable for earbuds. It comes with a whole bunch of different sizes, so you can put it in your ear and make it comfortable. And it has 3D sound, so when you turn your head, it's going to travel from ear to ear. And these little earbuds pack a huge punch. I turned it up, I couldn't hear a word anyone was saying. I was kind of scared to play VR with somebody else, or without my door being locked, so somebody don't walk in and scare the shit out of me, like my fiance decided to do when I was playing Kitchen. That demo where the fucking chick from Resident Evil cuts off that guy's head and jumps in front of you with a knife. Yeah, first time playing it.
You do those things to me normally.
Yeah, but give me a break. It was intense. So this chick's jumping in front of my face, right? And she grabs me from behind while I'm doing this, and it scared the living shit out of me. Literally scared the shit out of me, but it was all good fun. I like being scared. It didn't
literally scare the shit out of you.
No, I'm surprised I didn't crap my pants, though. On this, you have 2 buttons. You have this button on the back, and you have a button on the bottom of the headset to adjust. Remember, guys, if you wear glasses, it's not a problem. My fiance wears glasses. You just find that sweet spot, put it on, and you're good to go. How this works is you literally, at first, you're going to be all cautious about it, but it's simple. You grab it like this, and it pulls out. See? Button on the back. Pulls right out. Goes on your head like this. Boom. Now I have it on. Now, on the bottom, there's a button right here, and it brings the headset out and in, like this. So what you do is you put it on your head, and then you push it in for how immersed you want to be, and it shows how smooth it is. So now you have the headset. You can see a little bit below you. Some people say this takes him out of the immersion, but for me, it's fine. I'm not paying any attention to that, and you can bring it close enough where you can barely even notice that. Very, very comfortable, very light. The way that PlayStation made this makes it where you don't really feel like it's on your head. You're just kind of there and experience it, and I think that was very, very important for them to do. if you had a heavy headset, that would suck. I haven't tried any of the other ones, but this is beautiful. The screen inside of it is very clear, really, really nice resolution, like I said, and very, very accurate. At no point did I turn my head and did it jitter or stop, or did I have any problems. As long as you don't step out of the camera area, which you're not because you're playing it sitting down. Now, speaking of playing it sitting down, there's certain games such as Batman where they prefer you to stand up. When I was playing Batman, the coolest thing was I really felt like I was Batman. You're reaching out and you're sitting there and you're looking around, you're reaching out and you're grabbing your batarangs and you're throwing them, you're pressing buttons, you're grabbing things. There's a part where you're scanning a crime scene where somebody's killed and you see them live in front of you, and while you're there, you're holding down a button and inside it's like this device that records or rewinds time. So you rewind by turning it and then you stop and then you scan them to figure it out. You really feel like you're there. I mean, I never felt like I was Batman any more than that. There's even a part where there's like a mirror that you're looking into and it shows your reflection as Batman, and when you move, it actually moves with you. So of course I was being an idiot and grabbing the move controllers and rubbing my nipples and all this other crap, which I'll probably show you guys at some time, but it was amazing. Speaking of games that are amazing that I was enjoying, Resident Evil's coming out soon, and it's the killer app and the reason for you guys to buy it. I hope every one of you guys support this system, because the more support it gets, the more games we're going to get. And again, it is not a fad. Some people would complain, but people love complaining on the internet. That's what they do. They find a reason to complain about something. They never try to find the good in things, and I'm telling you right now, without even trying, you will find the good. Now, you can use either your DualShock controller or you can use the Move controllers. Two different things. The DualShock controller works perfectly and is tracked by the light. When you're moving, there's things you can do like shooting stuff, grabbing, pulling, whatever you need to do. It works amazing and it's beautiful. Now, the Move controllers are actually fantastic with this. One game that I played that was amazing is called Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which I'm sure every one of you have heard of. This system also came with a PlayStation VR demo. Now, this is a fantastic disc. It gives you a demo of Drive Club, Wayward Sky, VR World, Battlezone, everything you could experience. I enjoyed every one of these games. I was so immersed in all of them. The only thing I didn't really like that much was Drive Club. It made me a little bit dizzy, that one in particular, but they're working on ways to make it better. Rush of Blood was a really big surprise for me. I was thinking, okay, this is just going to be some half-assed game. Who knows? No. It is a roller coaster ride, and there are tons of roller coasters, and each level can go for up to 24-25 minutes, and there's tons of collectibles and reasons to go back, as well as when you're on this roller coaster, you'll be going one way, but if you shoot something, it'll make you go the other way. So there's a lot of reasons to revisit it. When you're on this roller coaster, you feel like you're there, like you're going up and up and up and up and up and up, and then you get to the top, and when it drops down, I could actually feel my stomach dropping. It was crazy how it tricks your mind. And the controllers are your two guns, and no matter how you turn them, even turning them at you, it works. Although, amazingly enough, you can't shoot yourself, which I think they purposely programmed. But you can move everywhere around you're shooting. You get to upgrade your guns, and as you're going, it starts out kind of calm. Everything's like, okay, this is how you shoot, like an arena. But think of it like House of the Dead in VR, but much longer, much better story, and of course better voice acting. But as you progress, it gets bigger and scarier and better. You have slaughtered pigs where blood is dripping onto your face when you're going. Gigantic spiders that, as far as you're concerned, look like they are freaking the size of a movie theater screen. Let's not forget, when you have this helmet on, the world is as big as they want it to be for you, and that's what amazed me about this. I just have to say that I think that VR could do a lot for a lot of people. Not only is it great for being immersed into a horror game or to a beautiful world or an RPG out there, but I think it could be good with people with depression, or for me, anxiety. I want to speak about that. I have anxiety. I get very anxious and I get very panicked. My fiance has depression, so she deals with, and a lot more I won't go into. She deals with a lot of problems, and I can see there being games out there like Beautiful World that she can get enveloped in that would actually help her. Like she loves when it rains, but we live, in the desert, so it doesn't rain here very often. And if they made a game or the situation where you're in a world and it's raining, you put on that helmet and you're there and you could experience it.
The World's demo helped me with being depressed at one point.
Yeah, the PlayStation World demo she played helped her with being depressed. She was feeling sad, but she was moving around and interacting in this world. She was also playing like Fruit Ninja and getting into it.
That was the day after.
Yeah, which is really fun. But I think it's a way to really help people in that way. So not just fun, but I really think it can because it helped her. For me, I get panic attacks. I have anxiety. I won't go into the stories why. A lot of people suffer from it, and I do. And sometimes when I'm really anxious, I just can't catch my breath or catch myself. And this seems like it'd be ridiculous, but I put on this helmet and put on a scary game, like Until Dawn, and it helped my anxiety because that fight or flight thing I felt,
Put into something.
suddenly it was put into something, and there was a reason for me to feel it. So no longer was it I'm sitting still in a room looking at a TV and feeling like somebody's chasing me and murdering me, even though I know it's not happening, but now it actually is, and all my energy was put into it. So I'm shooting, I'm killing things, I'm into it, and I noticed it calmed me down when I took it off. So whether that was intended when they created these games or not, mentally it works on your brain. So if you guys have anxiety out there, it depends on the kind of depression. I think this is something that they could really build on for people in the future. Develop programs specifically for it. The one thing you want to be careful with is disassociation. I have a little bit disassociation, and I'll admit when I take off the helmet at first, I felt like kind of really weird and kind of zoned out, and she did a bit too. But as I played it now,
Actually, I didn't.
Actually, AD did it. I did, which is
But I'm
weird.
always dissociated.
But she's always
different
feeling
kind.
that daily anyway. But after playing it a few times, that completely went away. And if you don't know what disassociation is, it's when you're looking around your world and you're starting to feel like things around you are fake or something. It's weird. But anyway, I think it'd be good for that. But so there's a lot of things that I feel that are really good to support VR. But one thing that you guys just need to know is this is real. This is a dream come true for me being a child. There is a Mars experience where you're on Mars. Like I know my brother Derek wants to be an astronaut, and you are able to go to that planet and be on it. If you want certain games, you can get up and walk and move. Or Tomb Raider, I'm in the Croft Mansion and I'm looking around, and it really it's an experience that you have to have and you have to see. I personally have to thank PlayStation for making this possible and putting this in people's homes, because this isn't the Kinect. This isn't some crap that you're gonna move around and be like, okay, I'm done with. This is brilliant, and I beg of anybody who doubts this to give it a try. This is not some 90s gimmick like what's that thing called the Activator for Sega Genesis, where you're standing up and you're punching left and right to hit a button. And it's it's fun at first, but then really you just want to sit down and use your own controller, okay? But it is actually the real deal. I am itching like crazy. Speaking of anxiety, I always itch and then I scratch and I get like a hive. It's the worst thing in the world, by the way. But yeah, controllers are beautiful. I think the price of these are very efficient, and I think that in a VR world, this is one of the most amazing things, and you guys should definitely jump on it, because Resident Evil, my god, when that game comes out, I'm going to shit my pants, and I cannot wait to play like Final Fantasy or a huge RPG world and really be there. It's a true dream. Now, I'm going to get into some other things. I know this review's long, but it had to be. You're going to see me playing games in the corner, or I'm going to show you some footage, but there's some other things that they built for this that are meant to be, and there's some unintended purposes, which I'm going to put a video up in this corner in a bit, and you can click on it and it'll show you what I'm talking about. Now the first thing is, this system has something called cinema mode, and what it is instead of being in a VR space, it actually, when you put on the helmet, it looks like you're in a gigantic movie theater. So you can change the size of the screen. It can be small, medium, or large, which makes you feel like you're either sitting in the back of a movie theater, in the middle, or right up front. You can turn your head and you're in this theater. So the cool thing is, if when you put on this helmet, you can watch movies with it. You can go to Netflix and you can watch movies. You can watch your favorite YouTubers when they're starting to put up content for VR, and you can watch them in this amazing giant screen like you're in a theater. If you miss it, it feels the same way. I swear to God it does. More than that, there's even more stuff you can do with it. They're creating the new Alien Covenant movie coming out, and it's going to be a virtual reality movie, so you're in the movie, you're there. and it's really cool. In Japan, they're doing porn. Don't care what anybody says. Everyone's like, oh, blah blah blah, gross, da da da.
And Pornhub 360 videos.
And Pornhub 360 videos. If you're into porn, you're there. I haven't actually gone to Pornhub and checked it out yet, but if it's anything like an actual game, then I know you're gonna be there. I know they created Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, the game they won't bring here because everybody bitches because there's boobs, blah blah blah. They have a mode in that game where you could sit there and so I mean basically there's everything you can think of and dream of you can do in it, but with the intended purposes there were some unintended surprises that I was able to do. So games that aren't VR you can play on the helmet. If you want to play I don't know, you want to play Fallout, which isn't out yet, or Resident Evil, or The Witcher, or Saints Row, or any digital games, you can put it on and look at it in a 240-inch screen, and who the hell doesn't want to do that? As a kid, I would dream about hooking my game system up to a movie theater projector and being able to experience that, and now you can. Now, for the unintended stuff, because I'm into technology, you could hook it up to other systems. Somebody said you could hook it up to a Wii. So I did. They are correct. You can play the Wii on it in cinema mode. You can play the Xbox on it in cinema mode. You can play 360, PS3, whatever you want. Now the only difference is when you're in that cinema mode, like if you preset it beforehand to a large screen, it'll stay a large screen. If you do a medium screen, it'll stay a medium screen. But you're looking around and you're in a theater, but the headset itself will not work. But here's the thing. If you're in the room and you're listening to the television or sound system, this isn't covering your ears, so it still feels the same to me. I also figured out a solution for this, guys. If you plug in a headset, you plug in a wire to the audio aux port on your television or computer, you can get a long aux port, put on your own headset and plug it into that, and then you can hear it while you're playing other games. So I figured out a way around that because, I like to figure out stuff with technology. Even better, after I was playing that, I started thinking, and that's where this other video comes up in mind. What if I could hook this up to older systems like Genesis and Master System and Super Nintendo and NES and Dreamcast and all these things? Well, you can. Look at this video that I put up over here, and you'll be able to see.
Over there, the other way.
Or over here, one way or another, and you're going to be able to see how I play the Dreamcast and all of these systems in here and be able to figure it out. It's really awesome. The one thing I need to show you before I go is this box. This is the last thing I need to explain to you. This box is a breakout box. Everything hooks up through this. So there's a TV out that goes to your television, and the system plugs into here, and then this is where the VR headset part goes into that's on your head. This is how it processes everything through to the TV, and this is how you hook up your system. So if you hook up the PS4, the 360, or anything else, you would plug it into here. So my example I was making on that video was, this was my master system that I was showing you guys right here, and this is a cord. This is a SCART cable RGB, and it plugs into here, this box, right? Well, I have it hooked up through RGB. You're seeing the other video. Now on the other side, I have an HDMI cable. I have this set up for every one of my systems, and because of that, that HDMI cable will go directly into here, and I can now play cinema mode on Shenmue or Streets of Rage or every other game or system you could imagine. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to do another video very soon where the video you saw above before this, I'm going to make a simplified version to show you how to hook up all your older systems. I think I'm the first person to do it because I haven't seen them online, but please check out that video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry it went on for a while. I'm going to have a lot of videos coming up, and we're going to be doing our Q&A very, very soon, so look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay that you saw in the corner, and yeah, don't let the haters tell you anything who can't afford it or don't want it. You go out, you try VR, and I swear to God you will be in another world and you will be a true believer. Thank all of you guys for watching, and one last thanks to Forgotten Freshness Gaming. Thank you, sir, for giving me the ability to have something that was a dream I've had since I was a child that I could have never afforded. Anyways, guys, until next time.